Welcome back, everybody. Today we have a Diamond 3 Kiriko VOD review. There's no summary with this one, unfortunately, so we're just going to get into it and try and notice what we can. This is my first VOD review back in the new seasons. And that's enough talking. Let's just get right into this VOD review. Already a pretty crazy first fight. I'm going to go back just a little bit. I think we had a teammate go down super early. Comp-wise, we have Winston versus, so we've got like more mobile versus more stagnant. Not too much for us to cleanse, but we'll just watch this back one more time. We probably could have been there earlier for our soldier, but that's not a huge thing to stay fixated on. We're just kind of a little bit lost at the beginning of this fight. We are also really slow to heal our Mercy there. Luckily she lives. The Suzu comes in late as well. We gotta ask whether or not the Suzu is even needed at this point. Right, here's when the Mercy comes in, and if I can slow that down a little bit, and you can see it's very easy to see that critical sign across your screen, and you can even catch the health bar there. So you're gonna want to pay attention. Luckily she lives, and yeah, I'd say the Suzu is good. Nice aim. We don't have the Suzu to help our teammate with the hog since we used it earlier on the Mercy. So for the first fight, there's nothing crazy going on. Nothing that I would say is like super wrong. I just think that we were maybe like a little lost and a little unfocused. We were kind of walking around up top, not really sure where we needed to be or what we needed to be doing. But I mean, that happens. This is Diamond 3, so the gameplay's not going to be perfect, but it should be pretty decent. So we're going to keep an eye out and see if we feel like this player knows what they're doing in the fights. So not just in general, but like where they need to be when they need to be there, which is a hard thing to get used to. Okay, so before I actually say it, you can like pause the video and see what I think I'm going to say about this play, but right now all we know is that their tank is dead, right? We don't know the status of the rest of their team. We know they're not on us, which means they're either walking back from spawn or they're on our monkey. And so while we do want to go help our monkey, we have to be really careful, because if we teleport in there, there could be up to 4 players right there, right on us. And that's actually, you can't really see it, but that's, sorry, technical difficulties. That's exactly kind of what's going on here. So you've got 3 players on the Mercy, on the Winston, and the Mercy's not going to hit you, but this is not the situation you want to be in. And you kind of put yourself in this situation, and what's even worse, you use your cleanse right away without really having a reason to, except, you know, the teleport cleanse is kind of just a play that people make instinctively without really thinking about it. But you have no cooldowns. You're in the middle of multiple players who are staring at you, and there's nothing you can do except hope your team bails you out. So this is the first big mistake. I know sometimes you want to teleport in and help, and sometimes you need to, but this was not one of those times. Your monkey's not even critical. In fact, he's totally green, right? So when we teleport in, he's still got probably 350 HP left at least. Yeah, he's got 400 HP. He's still got armor. His bubble's still alive, and we just kind of put ourselves in harm's way. Luckily, we live because our opponent's not really looking at us, but you could get punished for that in future elo. And the thing that we did, I want to mention one more thing about this fight. We'll move on, I promise. But the problem is we didn't even go in and like help the monkey. We went in, we Suzu'd him, and then we just immediately started fighting. And I get that you had to fight because you put yourself in that situation where you needed to fight. But your monkey actually dies, and you know he's like never on your screen. You basically just don't look at him after you teleport him. right? Like, you really just had no idea what was going on with him, so something to keep in mind. Let's just watch it from his perspective. Oh, it's so sad. Yeah, and there's not too much you could do about that, but if you're paying attention, maybe you could be there. I'm not worried about you saving the monkey, though. I just think you should not be teleporting in without really knowing the situation, unless... I mean, there's only certain specific scenarios I would really recommend that. I'm not sure what you were checking for there. I also think the use of Suzu is a little bit premature, so I get... Okay, before we talk about the positioning and getting hooked, I want to look at this Suzu one more time. Yeah, I guess it's fine. I definitely won't spend that much time on it, but I think he's gonna be pretty safe here unless he has stickies on him. I mean, he's out of line of sight. Mercy's already got the beam on him, and he's got his own healing station. So we are using it a little early, and it is a pretty important cooldown, but again, not a huge mistake. Not gonna linger. I do want to say, okay, first death. We'll talk about it. I do want to ask, think to yourself right now, why are you jumping down? Right? Like, what's the point? This is a pretty good spot. We have view over our team. So what's jumping down going to accomplish for us? I mean, you get, I guess, more protection from Echo if she flies up and tries to burst you, which is like a pretty valid point. But if you're not in any threat, you can kind of sit up there and keep that power position. As it is, I mean, we've already seen it 3 times. We catch the hook that was probably meant for our Mercy, and we get 195 to 0. So unfortunate. We probably could have prevented it with better positioning. So not a horrible mistake though. Okay, this is one of those times where I think it is necessary to teleport in like you did. So to win this fight, if you're going to want to win this fight, you're going to need your tank, absolutely. I mean, it's pretty obvious. And you have no idea what situation he's in, except the fact that he's probably about to die. He's critical and he's like deep orange. So again, I mean, it looks like the same situation, but this is one where your tank's in a spot where he needs healed or needs saved more, and you had to go in and do it. It's good play. I just want you to be able to recognize these on your own, like when's a good time to do this and when's a not good time to do this. You are still gonna have to deal with this. It looks like he focuses on the monkey more, but yeah, this is a very scary situation. You have no abilities, and this hog is literally right next to you. So all right, let's go back and check out this ult one more time real quick. Your ult is super powerful. I'm sure you already know that. And you want to make sure you're getting, good use out of it when you do use it. So there are a couple problems. You can think or pause the video, try and figure them out before I say them. But even if we do use this ult here, one, we know the hog's already not here. He's dead. So who are we targeting with this? And we can go back and check if the hog was there when we used it. So hog hadn't died yet, but besides hog, what are we trying to get out of this? We know that their DPS aren't here. And even if they are here, what you can do instead of placing it where you placed it, right? Let's get a look here. It's just gonna go like this. It's gonna get stopped on this wall. That's exactly what happens. We could just shift to here and send it this way instead, right? And that's just a much better, I mean, it's still, I don't think it's a good situation to use the ult in, unless the tanks were like fighting like in this area where they were earlier, if the tanks were still here, I think it would be much better. I'd say it's like a pretty good ult. But the one you actually used is almost 100% completely wasted. You just get a little bit faster fire rate against that soldier who can run away from you. Whereas you could just shift over a little bit and at least get more, you know, more use out of this. Maybe you can use it to chase down the Lucio. Probably not. It's a Lucio. You know, maybe you can do something to the soldier with this, but yeah, we'll keep an eye on future ults. This one's just not really that good, and you really do want to be getting as barely avoided the hook there, but we did. Nice. Good poke. Good crosshair level as well. Good Suzu. All this is good. Your team is a little confused on where they need to be. And some nice kunai. Let's check out this point one more time and see if there's anything we... So we're not really going to have any teammates in a great spot to teleport to. So this just kind of happens. I mean, if we're maybe a little more vigilant, we can get away from this hook, but not really worried about it. It's just in the future that hook might kill you, and then you don't move on to get these kills. Your teammates lose the fight, etc., etc. But overall, this is good. Your aim is clearly fine. It's more specifically your crosshair placement is good. Okay, let's think for a second. Why did we die? What did we do wrong? You just kind of walked in, balls to the absolute wall. You know, I respect the confidence, and tried to take on a pocketed echo. Yep. You just see this blue beam, and it's time. You know, we don't even have Suzu here, so this is actually just inting. I'd probably like have a fit if you kept doing this. Like if you were in my games and you just kept doing this, I'd probably have an actual fit. But you know, I think it's pretty obvious. You know, I think you probably could have realized this on your own without me saying anything. And so I'm hoping that it doesn't happen later in the video or later in the replay because you realize what you're doing wrong. Your team gets wiped. So far just as a very short recap, we have a little bit of cooldown waste going on where we're just kind of spamming our buttons to spam our buttons, but it's not a horrible problem yet. We have wasted our only ult that we've used, and we have gotten out of position and a little lost once or twice as well. So just things to keep an eye on. Sometimes it's a one-off thing, and you just have like a couple bad ability usages or a couple bad positioning mistakes, but if it keeps happening over and over again, then that's a pattern that you need to try and fix if you want to climb. Your monkey is just way out, way too far in front with no help, and there's really nothing you can do there, and it just sucks that he doesn't understand his limits. At this point with your monkey dead, you're just, yeah, trying to salvage what you can from this fight. It's already over. Yep, get your mercy out. Just get out if you can. Yep, good TP. Very small, very nitpicky thing. I almost didn't mention it, but right after you TP, let's just keep an eye on your movement after you TP out. You're good, you're backing up, you're moving to cover, right? And then you start walking forward. It's like very awkward. It's just a tiny bit, but you want to make sure that you're finding cover. Right? I mean, this is, if you're playing against a better soldier, you just kind of have to pray that your tank is going to bail you out here, because instead of, you know, backpedaling around to corner or, you know, going left to try and get this corner, you're just kind of floating out here in the middle of space. But again, it was just a small movement, so we're not going to think about it too much, but we want to make sure we're always moving to the next piece of cover. I have no idea what that Suzu was, but it happens sometimes. Just make sure you're noticing when you're using your Suzus, because there was just, I mean, there was no threat. His shield had been up for a second or two, so. Right now, what might I be thinking? It's gonna be pretty hard to guess, but we're kind of sitting in a huge teammate ball of goodness, and Roadhog is just gonna throw a hook in here and just pray that your Sigma blocks it, because otherwise this Roadhog is gonna get you guys, or at least one of you guys. Could be you. You could get one shot. It could be over. We could just stand somewhere else, somewhere safer, somewhere near cover. I get that we're using this wall to block this angle, but they're going to walk around here, and it's just like, we don't really need to be here, right? We don't really need to be here. We can do exactly what we're doing from somewhere else. Like, look at your soldier. He was finding cover. Now he's running to the high ground, which is also fine. But yeah, just make sure you're noticing where you are, where you're standing. Just because nothing happens at one point doesn't mean, you know, later when you play better characters that they won't take advantage of these mistakes. Okay, Overwatch, calm down. We use our second ult. Again, not really very good. This time, at least our line was good. The line that we used it on was pretty good. But the problem was just the timing with the ult. Right? So our line is better. Let's wait until we cast. It's not great. Okay, no. Let's talk about this. Good line. Bad timing, right? Your team is behind you, all of your team, including your tank, by the way. I don't know if you realize this. You pop the ult and it's just guns blazing. The first one, and I know that a lot of these people aren't able to hit you because you're fast, and her hitbox is horrible. It's so small and it moves so much. So you're kind of just out here thinking you're invincible, and they just kite you. This is a perfect example of why you need to be more patient on this ult. And I did this all the time. When Kiriko came out, dude, my coach in my scrims just had to tell me over and over again that you're just using it too early, and you need the fight to actually be going on before you use it, because otherwise it's just such a strong ult that they're going to kite it if they can. And they can. Despite the fact that we have damage boosted visor on a Kiriko ult and a tank form bastion, we can't even get anything here. We didn't get a single kill yet. I mean, I know we'll probably get one eventually, but they make it out of all of those ults alive, and that's a big mistake on our part. That much power, you know, we should be getting 2 or 3 kills with that kind of power. So, and we need to watch our positioning. Just because we use our ult doesn't mean that we're invincible. It does make you harder to hit, but you're not the tank, right? So you gotta be really careful. Wow, lucky that the hook didn't happen earlier. We're just kind of off in the middle of nowhere right here. I mean, and by the middle of nowhere, I mean the middle of the fight. Right? Like, we're shooting at things, which is good, but we're not really keeping our teammates in sight. We're not 100% sure what's happening with our teammates usually, and this has been a theme for multiple fights where I'm not sure if we're tunnel visioning, but we just get kind of lost in the fight, and we're just throwing out kunai left and right, and that's kind of all we're doing. And I mean, just look at your positioning. I know you have your abilities, and it's pretty safe when you have your abilities, but like, man, your tank is here. It's just a little scary, but they're not punishing you for it. And now, not only are you in the middle of the enemy team, but you also have used your get out of jail free button. Okay. We tried to disengage the soldier. That's good. You kind of right here. You're like, okay, pocketed soldier. We can't fight that. We see that our team is nowhere near us. They're not near us at all, and it's just time to get away. No more kunai. I think we're just a little late on the TP, but it looks like you recognized it that time, and you didn't just fight to the death. You're just a little too slow to get away, but nice attempt. You just gotta make sure we're just not getting like too out of line, too out of position, and then our team has to suffer for that, you know? I'm fine with that, Suzu. Your aim is pretty good. Nice finish. You gotta be really careful here, right? This is a Roadhog. He whiffs, you get the kill. I'd say this is good aggression, because this is a fight that you really do need to win, and so it's okay to make riskier plays. Although I'd love to see you, you know, using cover a little bit more and not being the first one on your team to engage them. But that was a pretty good fight. Yeah, you don't really need to poke here. I mean, if you can get a kill, it's obviously worth it, but otherwise you're just charging their support ults and you're not getting your ults. I'm totally okay with that, Suzu. The teleport is questionable though. It's hard to know whether you can save him or not. And okay, I'll say that the teleport's fine. You want to save him, but it's going to be really tough to save him without the Suzu. And you don't want to get stuck in here with Orisa. Luckily, she leaves, and you're probably fine. I don't, you know, honestly, I'm not sure, but just make sure you think about it. All right, our third ult. I gotta say, I don't really like this one either. This time we put it in the middle of the fight. Thank God, right? We actually, the fight is happening and the ult is in the fight. But the problem is our team is not on the ult. I mean, Sigma's here and we're here, but our Sigma has been weak, and you know, it's gonna be tough to keep him alive, especially without Suzu. And there's no way our like Bastion gets up to this, right? I could be proven wrong, but I'm like very confident it's gonna be super hard for Bastion to fight right here, because there's no Orisa in his face, a soldier, you know, there's too much going on. So I think it would be better for us to instead, what we could do is we're stuck in here. We have 2 seconds left on our Swift Step. We Swift Step to our Mercy, and then we use our ult up the line. So up the fight, our Bastion comes back, and we have our ult just kind of running straight down the middle here is what I would be doing. So straight down here, or you could, you know, be a little, try and get this angle, which would be pretty tough to do, but you kind of get the idea, right? We don't need to put it here because our DPS, our other support can't even get to it. I will say this one is probably better than the other ones we've been using, but it's still not good. I would still rate this as a not good ultimate. Who knows though, maybe the Bastion makes it all the way up to the ult, pops tank mode and kills 3. We'll see. I've done that before. Look at the ground, train Suzu. Didn't have Suzu on cooldown. We do now. Do we use it in time? We do. And you get punished because you're playing like a tank. So not much. I've mentioned this before. I'm not going to mention it again, but we're playing like a tank. We're not a tank. We die. It's just kind of what happens. In fight, not really too much to talk about here. I assume we just lose the round. Yep, round over, and that's okay. I think your play is pretty good. Your aim is definitely your best attribute, I would say, on Kiriko. You're really good at crosshair placement and generally leading your shots as much as you need to hit. Some of the things that we are going to need to work on though is the fact that we're out of position quite a lot. I think this isn't you know, a one-time mistake, but our positioning, that is so ugly. It needs a whole bunch of work. Stop playing like you're the tank. You're not the tank. You're the support. And our ult usage is our second biggest thing. So ult usage, really need to clean it up, be more patient with it. And there's also like some wasted cooldowns going on, but it's not super bad. I wouldn't worry. You know, you need to fix your positioning and your ult usage first, and then you can worry about, you know, using your Suzus a little better. And that's my recap for the first round. I'm gonna go over the second round, which is, you know, almost 10 minutes long, but we are gonna go over it a lot faster. I'm not gonna point out all the same stuff I'm pointing out here. I'm not gonna go in depth about it. I'll point it out. But I'm just gonna point it out and say, hey, this ult's, you know, you can see that this ult's not good either, or we're out of position again here, and we're just gonna move on so we can get through this, you know, pretty quickly. So this second round, we're gonna get through a lot faster than the first round, but we're still gonna look for the same things. Just because I think more examples is, it's easier to see what we're doing wrong when someone else tells us. So I'm actually going to speed it up a little bit here. I immediately regret speeding it up because you can't see anything, but punished for trying to save him. I get that you wanted to save him, but even if he died, it was going to be fine. The cart is still pushing anyways. You did end up saving him, which is good, but you don't ever want to trade your life for a DPS unless they have like the game-winning ult, which they usually don't. Very aggressive angle. It's fine though, because you don't overstay your welcome, right? This is all fine, all good. Again, you're kind of playing as the tank there. You're in front of your whole team. Here I need to mention we have no cooldowns. We use our teleport to get out of the position that we put ourselves in, right? So we go up here to do what I assume is help our diva. And instead of helping our diva, we just try and fight them all. We luckily get our cooldown back right in time. We have to use our Suzu. And we should just die here. But the mech was pretty low and her team didn't really come help her. So we do live. Oh, I take it back. We die. So yeah. You may think that's not a positioning mistake. You just got unlucky. The soldier found you, whatever. But no, you were forced to use your teleport because of bad positioning. And then when the diva capitalized on you not having teleport, you had to Suzu, which led to you having no cooldowns and dying. So again, that's a positioning mistake. What is up with Overwatch's replay viewer? We got a little tunnel vision there, not the end of the world. In general, it's good to focus on damage. I mean, obviously you need to heal enough to at least keep your teammates alive, right? But doing damage has a big impact because if you're putting pressure on people, that means they're not as able to just attack freely, and usually it ends up with less damage on your team, which is always good. Less for you to do since your team's taking less damage. They're staggering. You love to see it. We're just kind of chilling, not much to talk about here. I do want to say that our Echo just was flying above us with not very much health. We didn't really notice. Not a huge deal though. But if that Helix had directed our Echo, she would have died there. I'm not really sure what this is. guess we wanted to wall climb out, but when you're looking, we get hit by everything. Stickies into a helix. It's kind of just unlucky, but you have the tools to live, right? I mean, you can Suzu the plane there. You can teleport out. You can do all sorts of things, and we just don't really get out of the way in time. Nice job backing up to cover. You should be doing that all the time, even in a fight. Just like how you did then. You were up forward and then you walked back until you were around the corner, right? That's good positioning. Nice aggression. Again, your aim is good. The one thing I need to mention though is when you're being aggressive like this, you have no idea what's happening with your teammates. And so you're just kind of hoping that... Wow, what an actual mess. You're just hoping that your other support kind of picks up that slack and makes sure that your team lives through the fight. We kind of waste our Suzu here. There was really just no need for that. And we do get an ult that I like. This is the first ult that I've liked. And why might I like this one? Well, one, the fight's already happening, right? So it's not like... Plenty of fighting going on. Pretty clear. Our line is good. It goes all the way through. We have a div up here to take advantage of this with us. Echo's one of our teammates who can theoretically get up here as well and fight on this. How does Mercy die to this bomb? Ah, that's unfortunate. That's her fault though. And they do end up cutting your ult, but the reason I like it anyways is because it makes it almost impossible for them to contest the cart. And that's why it's so good, is that not only is the fight happening here, but they can't really walk through this door anymore unless they just want to die. So good ult. I like this one a lot. Unfortunately, D.Va's going to be able to contest. Nice shots. Very nice shots. We miss an opportunity there, and we have to try and get a Suzu on him. And so it is hard because the D.Va's defense matrixing, but you just absolutely have to try and Suzu him there. 100% have to do it. So let's try and pay attention when our teammates are like especially ulting. It's just kind of ulting in general. If you have a cast who's using High Noon, if you have a soldier who's trying to use a visor, any of these ults, if you have a hog who's using whole hog and taking a lot of heat, you want to just support them with that Suzu. If he's obviously in no danger, then yeah, you don't have to use it. And in fact, it's better not to use it just for the sake of using it. But if he's in any sort of danger, you need to try and get this ultimate off, because he could potentially get 1 or 2 kills here and lock up this fight and get rid of this stall. Your positioning here is way better. It's so much better. Just, I'm not going to say any more than that, but think back on this fight and how safe you are here. It's so much better. I love it. Why? Why did I say anything? And we die because of it. Oh, I shouldn't have said anything. I jinxed you. Well, it's kind of a good lesson, right? Up top, I know it's harder to hit shots. I know you want to jump down so that you can finish these kills, but it's not worth it if you die. If needing to be closer to hit your shots means you die, it's never worth it. So just, stay in a healthy place. Ideally on supports, I like to have in the range of 4 to 4.5 deaths per 10. So especially with the the more survivable ones, you should be able to be in that range. Some of them it's just not going to be possible, and I get that. But if you're dying 6 or 7 or 8 times per 10 minutes, then it's like almost a telltale sign that you're way out of position. And you can notice that if you look at the top 500 leaderboards as well, you'll see a lot of the highest level supports are very good at not dying. Let's go back and let me watch this one more time. I don't inherently hate teleporting up there and helping her. I just think you needed to stay closer to that doorway because you know that Echo can float back and forth. Um, and unfortunately, your diva does leave you. It sucks. I don't think this one's too terrible of a mistake on your part, but you probably could live here if you just jiggle this doorway a little more, and then you'll get your teleport back in 1 second, and you get the hell out of there. Absolute waste of Suzu. Yeah, we didn't have Suzu back in time. That's fine. That's fine. It's okay to be very aggressive when there's very few people left in the fight, right? So when there's okay, hold up. When there's a low chance of you dying or your teammates dying if you leave them, it's fine to go up like that, use your cooldown super aggressively. I like that. It's just when you're in a 5v5 still and you're chasing into their backline, using your cooldowns offensively, letting your team, you know, you have no idea what's happening with your team, that's when it's a problem. But on cleanup, of course it's fine. Thank God that soldier did not get his value. It looks like we are not going to escort this payload in. Good ult. Another good ult. So we have 2 good ults in the second half. But you're just, you have no idea what's going on. You have absolutely no idea what's going on, especially behind you. You walk forward, and it's like you just get like everything that isn't on your screen is basically just doesn't exist for you. You hear your cast high noon, you don't turn around to see if he's okay. I mean, you're just right. Like, I don't have to say anything. I don't know, we're the tank, except we're not the tank. You know, our diva doesn't turn around either to try and help Kaz, you know, with defense matrix, which is fine. Zarya beam is there, but I don't know. We can be more aware than this. We can know what's happening. We cannot be pushed so far forward. This Zarya has 100 energy for sure. Could melt you super quick even with your cooldowns. We waste our Suzu. We have really no reason to use that there. I get that you're in the heat of it and you're gonna get your cooldown back fast. You're in your ult, but it's a waste, right? You're full health, or at, you know, super close to full health. You might not be exactly full health, but yeah, you're literally full health, and your diva's almost full health as well. Meanwhile, by the way, this guy is crying. He is crying. He just wants to get healed. That's all he wants. All he wanted was to get healed. He dies. The fact that we're still alive right now is an absolute miracle, and it's because the people you're playing aren't that good. You're dead. So you're dead 5 times already in this fight. Once you know, if you want to push into like masters, high masters, low GM, you're gonna have to fix this, or it's just never gonna happen. Better players will kill you here. Let's try the Suzu. And now we're in cleanup, right? Now it's okay. We die, but we got double dinked by the Kiriko. That's gonna be all this game wrote. Last fight. I think the Suzu is fine. At this point, you're just trying to do whatever you can. And we die, and that's gonna be game, isn't it? Yeah. GG's. Alright. Recap at the end. It's gonna be the same as the recap in the middle. So the most important thing that I'm seeing is our positioning is just not good. Right? We are not a tank. We are support. and we need to play like it. I know that there's a school of thought with the Kiriko players, even all the way up as far as ladder goes. This is a thing where, you know, you get in the back line, you try and, you know, assassinate someone, and then you Suzu and teleport out. But that's not even what you're doing, right? You're not, you know, trying to flank and trying to get a sneaky kill. You're literally walking straight up in the fight. So we can't even say that you're just like an aggressive South Kiriko. You're kind of just asking to die. Um, and then your ults definitely better in the second half, but I just say ults, patience. That's my advice. Make sure that the fight's already happening in that space, and that it's, you know, you're gonna be able to use it. They're not just gonna run away from it. So you got better about it in the second half for sure, but it still is something you need to work on. Hell, it's something I need to work on. It's something that most people need to work on. And then just don't. The only other, I'm not gonna write this one down, but don't press your buttons just to press your buttons. Make sure there's a reason we're Suzuing, or there's a reason we're teleporting. Because if we waste that cooldown and then we need it in the future and we don't have it, we're just shit out of luck, and that's all there is to it. So, that's what I saw this game. Your aim, you know, there's a bunch of good things. I'm obviously not talking about super in depth, but your aim is great. Your crosshair positioning is great. And you do feel like a diamond level player to me, but I think you could easily push into low masters if you just died a little bit less. And I'd be super interested to see your stats, and see what your deaths per 10 are, because I think they're going to be a little bit on the higher side, maybe in the 6 to 7 deaths per 10 range on Kiriko. But yeah, good gameplay. I got this code off of Overwatch University's Reddit. If you want to get your VOD reviewed as well, you just have to join my Discord. Link will be in the description, and then there's a dedicated channel in there with rules in the pinned comments about how to get your VOD reviewed. I do it completely for free for now, and that's going to be all there is on this video. If you enjoyed, make sure you drop a like and subscribe. It really helps me out. It lets me know that you guys appreciate what I'm doing. And that's all. I hope you learned something today. I hope you enjoyed, and good luck on the ladder. See you in the next video.